I want to thank John Galston with Area 52 Media Group for producing our show. We wouldn't be here without them, and that includes Joseph behind the scenes. We both had pilot airs this afternoon, but all's good. We're here, it's nice that even our show is really serious, but it's nice that we can still find time to laugh about stuff even when things go wrong. So all's good. So we will move forward. So also we need to thank Delynn Gaston with the mortgage firm, our sponsor. She is so awesome. So anything mortgages, first time buyers, second, third, fourth time buyers, whatever you are, wherever stage you're at, especially like if you're new to the home buying deal and you don't know where to start or where to begin or what you need. And I mean, this is a gal that can take you step by step through the process so that you can either find your first home, your forever home. That's who I recommend. So anyway, and I want to thank her. She's been with me as John since the beginning of this journey, and it's not people don't always stay with you through this journey from the beginning through, and unfortunately you find that out sometimes, but these people have been great friends and steadfast in supporting me in so many ways. So we thank them so much. So first off, we still have, May's coming up, and which is also, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we have our support groups coming up in May. They both happen to fall on the same week. The Spring Hill group meets May 14th at the NAMI Hernando office, and Kathy Goodman, our main facilitator, she'll be facilitating that group. And then Newport Richey West Pasco group meets the next evening on the 15th at the Oasis Coffee Spot. My co-facilitator, Teresa Daniels, will be facilitating that group, as I will be on a cruise that week. So, and I've been kind of thinking about that a little bit. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I think it'll be, check out the week of May 11th to the 17th. I think that's when our cruise is. I'll try and post some pictures on the Bobby White Foundation Facebook page. As to where we're going, I have no idea. Everybody asked me that, and it's blooped out of my head. All I know is I'm going to be on a cruise. It's actually our district Rotary conference is doing the cruise. So I think we're doing some sort of helping project somewhere along the lines. I don't know where, but when I get back, I can tell you all about it, because then I'll know. So anyways, so where are we at here? Art for Hope. We had our volunteer meeting last night. It was very lightly attended, is all I will say, but that's okay. We met out at the Hilton Garden Inn. That's where we're going to be holding our volunteer meetings up until the event. And we have some, like I said, we've been doing things differently, and I did do some more of those pots that we showed on the last show, but I haven't had a chance to get some photos of it. But one of the items that will be available, and this is something that we've kind of held on to for a few years for several reasons. The meaning of the piece, and when COVID had hit that year, and so we didn't really do much to promote the sale or the auction of this piece, but it's an antique door, and it's a Ford or Chevy door. I can't remember. I'm thinking Chevy, but I could be wrong. I have to go back and look at it. But this is an antique door that my nieces, those are our two great nieces, Haley and Josie, which they're much bigger now because this was in, I think they did this in 2020. And Haley on the right is the taller one. She's graduating from high school this year. I just can't believe it. But anyways, the two girls designed this door with the Beatles lyrics, and did it all themselves for the foundation. Haley did created two antique doors prior to this one herself, and they were sold at auction at previous Art for Hope fundraisers. So this one, we're bringing this one back out to be available this year. And the window does work. It does roll up and down. So I just have to do a couple little things to it to make the door a little bit lighter. It's really, really heavy. But it's a really neat piece. It was done with love from our nieces. And we're excited to pull this back out and have this available so that some home or business or collector could hang it on their wall. And it has a lot of meaning. So that'll be really cool. And we're going to have so many different unique items available from all the different arts. So we're super excited about that. So our meeting was lightly attended last night. For one reason, two of our volunteers are on an adventure right now. Kim and Mitch Romanowski. Kim has been our MC for the last few years, and Mitch has been the backbone of helping moving and keeping everybody organized during the event. I tell you, without the two of them, we would have been in chaos the last couple of years. They're really good at tasking, and Lord knows I need to be put on task at times, and somebody needs to watch me. Kim is awesome. She, like I said, she's been our MC the last couple of years. She, during COVID, she did a video for us, and I'm gonna pull that video out and see if we don't get it on the show next week. I'll see if I can just pull it out and put it on the foundation Facebook page. But I'm gonna see if we can get it and have it put on here because, and the reason being, Kim lost her dad. Now, okay, this is what recently happened. This past weekend or last weekend was Mitch's 70th birthday, and Kim and Mitch that's Mitch finishing the London Marathon. That's right. For his birthday, him and Kim ran in the London Marathon. So I'm so proud of both of them. They are, and right now they're, I guess they left London. I think the last post that I saw from them, they went to Edinburgh. I think that's where they're at now. So they're on quite an adventure. And I'm so proud of both of them. They've been doing marathons for the last several years. And Kim wanted to do marathons in different places. She's done the New York Marathon. I can't remember all the marathons. She's done, there was a Disney one. There was a Disney one, and we talked about this. It was several years ago. And she one weekend, and she came back with like 6 medals from different races. I mean, she just ran her butt off like for days. And it's really cool. So I'm really proud of them, and happy birthday to Mitch. You guys are awesome, and I am so grateful to have you guys in my life. Kim lost her dad to suicide, and in the beginning, I mean, just like all of us, she found it really hard to talk about. And but she's really she's really become she's a fighter and a crusader, and she's just awesome. Totally. I mean, I just don't know what other word to use for both of them. So we'll be looking forward for them to be coming back to the States and be at our next Art for Hope fund or uh, volunteer meeting, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, May 26th at the Hilton Garden Inn. So if you're local here and you want to help participate or know any local, and actually they don't have to be even local if they're willing to ship, but any artists that would like to donate to our fundraiser to help us raise money for the foundation. Remember, we're a local small nonprofit. So the money that we raise stays right here in our community and goes to helping those in our community. Now, every once in a while, and this is why, I mean, we've kind of grown faster than what I anticipated as far as our reach, not as far as raising money and donations. But like our Purple Folder program, we've sent our Purple Folders all over the country. And I tailor some of the information to the area of where we're going to send the Purple Folder, which is a packet of information for lost survivors that they may not be ready for the information at the time, but at least when they are ready for information, they actually have something in their hands, resources, and just to know, there's help out there. There's help out there for us. So, yeah, it's cool. It's good. So, that's what we are raise money for. We got to have our support groups that we started this past year. I think June or July will be 1 year since we started our support groups, which is really awesome. And also in October, I'll be going out to the Center for Loss and Life Transition to do some suicide grief training, which I'm so excited about and looking forward to. It's a training with Dr. Alan Wolfelt that I've wanted to do for several years. So we'll be doing that. I'm excited. That training has been paid for. Now I just need to come up with the funds for the flight and staying out there and everything else that it takes to do that. But I have faith that we'll do that because I'm going to be there. So we can, it's just something that we can bring back, more for our community and beyond. Because even with this show, what I learned, going out there and doing some training with him, I get to bring back to you guys with the show also. So that's exciting. Okay, so we've got that. I'm trying to stay on task. My brain is not following itself the way it's supposed to be today. That was part of our pilot error issues at the beginning. But anyways, so we get that. Okay, so now last week, because we focused on something else, we're going to get back to, we're almost done with Dr. Wolfelt's book, The Wilderness, that one. Yeah, The Wilderness of Suicide Grief, Finding Your Way. So we're on Touchstone 8. And Touchstone 8, which is really important, and actually I personally feel that it might be one of the harder touchstones, and it is to reach out for help. I think a lot of people, me included, it's difficult to reach out for help, and especially when it comes to a suicide death, because the stigma is still out there so much, and you don't know what other people's reactions are going to be, even within your own families. His quote, the quote he used at the beginning of this Touchstone is, "At times our light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person." And that's, I think, and that Albert Schweitzer, that's his quote. And that can be true. And it may not be, one person, it may be, several people if you're lucky enough to find, those several people. He says here, grieving and mourning the death of someone precious to suicide is probably the hardest work you have ever done. And hard work is less burdensome when others lend a hand. And that goes with anything, but particularly with this. I mean, I was fortunate, so fortunate. My neighbor has been there every single day. My aunt, my cousin. Those are my 3 total rocks that have been totally consistent. I have other people that are too. I have other friends, like Dylan and John, of course. But it's hard to reach out for help, and I'm just as bad. But reaching out for help also connects you to other people and strengthens bonds of love that make life worth living again. Because, when you're in the midst of this and you're at the beginning of this journey, I don't really think about that anymore. But at the beginning of this journey, you wonder, what's life worth living? The life that you had was taken away. The life you thought you were going to have, your future was taken away. What now? Is it really worth it? My person didn't think it was worth it. I mean, that's just thoughts that go through your head that may not be true. More than likely not true. It's, suicide is a complicated thing. So there's good and bad places to turn for help, and you'll have to know who or what that is, and what's going to work best for you. Because everybody's different. Your journey's going to be different than my journey or somebody else's journey, but there are still some similarities. So places to look for help are fellow lost survivors. They know exactly what you're going through. Losing our people to suicide is such a different grief than other tragic deaths. Not to say that it's worse or better. I mean, I do know tragic death. I've been there too. It's just suicide is different. And I think really that it stems from the person taking their life and the stigma that is still surrounded by suicide and mental health. It's there, period. And people view suicide so differently, and especially if it hasn't happened to them. So fellow survivors, and this is a big one, select friends and family. And you are going to have to know who that is. And actually, you will find out who that is really pretty quickly. I haven't really, well, the friends, they pretty much just, go away. At least in my experience. They're out there, and probably if I reached out to them, it would be okay. One of our friends, I haven't seen him in years. He was one of Bobby's best friends, and him and his girlfriend, hadn't seen him in years. I reached out a couple times when I knew he was going through some heart issues, but I happened to last year go to lunch with a friend of mine at the American Legion, and him and his girlfriend were there. And so I went up and saw him, and it was like, it was great. They were glad to see me. I was glad to see them. But how they didn't reach out, before, they haven't reached out since. So, and that's all is good. It's there, especially him, he's dealing with his grief, the loss of his friend differently than I am. But I think it's the harder one is when it comes to family members that are not supportive. And you'll have that. I have a huge family. I have a couple of family members, my cousin and my aunt, that are or were, and they still are because my mom has passed away, but they were and have continued to be way more supportive than my mother was. My siblings, nope, especially my sisters. My in-laws, they're different. They're, my brother-in-law and sister-in-laws, they're dealing with their grief differently. I get a lot more support from one sister-in-law than I get from the other two, but again, they're dealing with their grief differently, and people, their journey is going to be different than ours. Do I wish that I had more support from them? I did in the very, very beginning. Of course, in the very, very beginning, I broke my leg, and there were other crazy things going on. But as time goes on, as with other people, everybody gets back to their lives. Granted, ours as family, it's changed forever. But they still, go back to their lives, which is different than ours. But but that's okay. But the main thing is when you are searching for support from family or friends, make sure that they're the people that are going to be truly supportive, because you do not need the people that are going to be downers, or think that you should have moved on, or you want people that are going to really listen to you and not make you feel like you're a burden. Support groups are another, and this could be just regular grief support groups. I find in several people who have lost someone to suicide find suicide-specific support groups more helpful than regular grief support groups. There again, because our grief is different, and suicide-specific support groups, everybody there is there because they lost someone to suicide. Your religious or spiritual community, again, I mean, you're going to know if that's going to be good for you or not. I'm finding that the religious community is beginning to be more open when it comes to thoughts about suicide. And also a professional counselor or caregivers. We always, in our groups, especially with people that we know that are having more of a difficult time, to seek out professional help. And you may not find that person, and it may not be the first person that you find. It may not be the second person that you find. But keep going. You're going to find the person that is you're gonna feel it is a good fit for you to help you professionally. Now, real quickly, Dr. Wolfelt has the rule of thirds when it comes to grief and people. 1/3 of the people in your life will turn out to be neutral in response to your grief experiences. I don't care one way or other, be there or not. The other third in your life will turn out to be harmful in your efforts to integrate your grief and loss into your life. And the final third of the people in your life will turn out to be true supportive helpers. And those are the people you need to look for. Seek out those friends and families that are going to be in that last third. Safe people. We'll finish this up next week at the very end. And then we will see how to seek reconciliation, not resolution. So our quote for today is, "There is hope even when your brain tells you there isn't." Right? So we're continuing on the hope aspect. Please remember to keep these phone numbers in your phone, have them available. You never know when you're going to be the one that's going to be there to be the hope for that person, that one person who may need you. So I always say at the end of the show, and we're going to do this a little bit different like we did, I'm still going to say, there is always hope. But remember, it's May, the beginning of Mental Health Awareness Month. Have a great week.